And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm touching base with you as I do every day, every single day. I try my best to be here for you all and this wonderful community that we are building and that we are together hanging out. It is so good to see you. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. 14 more days left before the big election day. However, there's lots of places doing early voting right now. So please get out there and get your early vote on and get it done. Get it in, get it done. Because also, what I learned for some of the strategists out there is that when we vote early, it helps the campaign, the Kamala campaign, to know what areas to go into and support because they know all the areas that are strong. So the areas that are strong that they don't have to worry about as much, they can go into the areas that are weak. So get out there early so people can know exactly what's going on so that they can better manage this campaign. So early voting helps a whole lot in many ways that you don't realize. But also, if you have to make a change, if you've been kicked off the rolls and you need to get put back on, you need to have time to apply and get it done. Most places you can do it in right there. But at least you need to know for sure if you're there, and it saves you some time. It saves you energy to know that your vote is in early, especially across America. The temperatures are like 20 degrees, 10 to 15, 20 degrees above normal. The conditions of getting out and about is incredible. At least you don't have to worry about November and it may be snow on the ground. It may be cold. Like some election days are cold and snowy. You never know what will be happening 2 weeks from now. So get it done. Don't be a procrastinator. Get it done. Let's see who's in the building. Good morning to first person in the building is our wonderful Hannah. She says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. Second in the building is Grand Rising. And this is Aya. She says, Grand Rising and Ron and everyone at RLP. And also, she says, I exercise my right to vote in South Florida for democracy in South Florida. I vote in all elections for those who sacrificed their lives. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Aya. And third place in the bronze goes to Chris R. She says, good morning. So good to see you. So good to see you. That's right. Vote, 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 vote. Anthony Rowland is in the building. What's going on? He says, good morning. I see David Mascaro. I love that last name. I just love that last name, Mascaro. And I know I should be rolling the R's, Mascaro. Love his name. Love David. Hey, how you doing, David? Good morning. And we have in here Omar is in the building. What's up, my people? He says, so good to see Omar. He says, go vote. And then we have Derek T. Tuggle is in the building. He says, good morning, Ron. Good morning. And we have Mr. B, Mr. Brian Young Creative. Vote, vote, vote. And we have Janet in the building. She says it too. Vote, vote, vote. I love this community. We are always on the same page as in when it comes to elections. And we're a tribe. We're a tribe. I see here. Hey, Hannah, I see gonna be dropping off my. Oh, Brian says he's gonna be. Let me get there. Here we go. Here we go. See, I'm gonna be dropping my ballot shortly before I go see President Obama here in Detroit. Man, Brian, I'm jealous of you. You're getting all the love because you live in Detroit. I mean, you're seeing the scandal people, the Obamas, the Cheneys, the Kamala, you got Waltz. You're seeing it all. You're able to go to all these events. Man, I am jealous because you know what I would be doing? I would have my camera. I will be photographing so many things. I mean, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I'm jealous, Brian. I just have to tell you that I am jealous, bro. Anyways, get it on, Brian. You go out there and enjoy this time in history. This is history in the making. It is history in the making. And we are going to see it through to the end. And Kamala is going to win. Win, 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 win. How do they say? Speak it into existence. When you were growing up in church, speak it into existence. Win, 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 win. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will be the winners of the 2024. I just got to pause there. 2024 election. Oh, gosh, that was a moment. That was a moment. Anthony says, I voted yesterday and right on time. Dallas County had a software glitch causing delays. See? Some people were in line for 3 hours. Some people said there was a missing prop on the ballot. See, when things happen in Texas, I'm always skeptical. Texas is one of those places. Sorry, scratch my scalp. Sorry. Texas is one of those places that's really a mess. A mess. There was a gentleman that was on earlier today on one of my feeds. He said he went to vote in Georgia, and he said that his presidential casting changed in the machine. And so he had to tell them about it, and they were able to redo his, I guess you call it his chas. But yeah, so guys, double check when you put your thing through the feeder or however you guys do it in your states. Double check that you are getting the right outcome, because I heard that and I was like, "Ooh, that's not good. That's not good." That happened in Georgia, so it could have been another glitch in the machine, glitch in the software. So guys, definitely look into making sure that you your outcomes are correct. Okay. So today is, you know what today is? Today is Tip Tuesday. So on our Tip Tuesdays, you know what we do on Tip Tuesday? We talk about different things here. And let me get this all here. We are talking about Halloween photography today. And I was debating, I said, should we do this next week or should we do it this week? Reason why we're doing it this week is so that way you can prepare and get ready for it, right? That way you can start thinking about what you should be thinking about. So today we're going to be talking about how to capture cool photographs at your Halloween event. Okay, so at your Halloween event, or in some cases, events. Some people will be going to many Halloween events this Halloween. Halloween is the most expensive holiday outside of Christmas. People do participate in Halloween. Halloween, guys. So today is Tip Tuesday. And so there's a lot going on, but I want to also bring this to your attention because this was something that we all need to be aware of and we need to share. And so this was interesting. Let's hear it.
And can anything be done to combat the problem?
Hey, good morning, Mika. Good morning, guys. Yeah, that's right. Officials are increasingly concerned about the use of deep fakes as the election approaches, particularly to fool people about the time and place of voting, where and when they can vote. There's a new public service ad out today that tries to raise awareness about that problem. Take a look.
It's a nightmare scenario for election security officials, and it's already happened once.
It's important that you save your vote for the November election.
That was an artificial intelligence-generated deepfake of President Biden's voice, sent to 50,000 Democratic voters before New Hampshire's primary in January. The political consultant behind it charged with felonies. Experts fear more of that is coming, and they say the best antidote is public awareness.
People aware that this is the new spam that tries to deceive them and to make sure that they don't fall for that deception.
Joshua Graham Lynn is the group's CEO.
It's almost impossible to tell what's a deepfake and what's not when you're flicking through your phone on a busy night. Just changing a few votes in one district could tip the whole election.
The ad seeking to show viewers just how easy it is to produce convincing fake video.
Voting is your right.
Don't let anyone take it from you.
I love you, Amy. I'm so sorry. I am not even American.
Experts are urging Americans to get information about voting only from official sources. And they say if something seems off, it probably is.
So sorry.
So you, man, when you think it's so, guys, again, this is a campaign that they're running to try to show people that there are, unfortunately, AI out there that is giving out false information, giving out false dates for the election, false dates in how, like we saw the one in January with the one that was in New Hampshire that act like they were Biden. So, guys, we need to be totally aware and make sure you share this with your family, especially elderly, because the elderly really cannot disseminate as easy these AI con jobs. So make sure. It's so sad that we have to do this, but unfortunately, and talk about it. But there are people that are up to no good when it comes to this election. He said, Brian. Omar says Brian is our news correspondent on the ground. He certainly is. And look who else is in the building. Elise is in the building. Good morning, Elise. Good morning. She says, good morning, Ron. Good morning, everyone, she says. And so there are so many tricks out there, Elise says. So make sure you are aware of that. And also, there was something I just wanted to bring also. This was really cool. Let me just bring this up. So, guys, how many of you, I want to ask this question all the time, every day. How many of you have already voted? How many of you have already voted? I know some people have voted already. We have Brian sending his ballot into today. How many of you have voted already? And yeah, how many of you have voted? I have not. Well, we start voting on Saturday here in New York. So I will be there bright and early. My neighbors and I were talking yesterday in the courtyard, and we were like, we got our game plan. Our game plan is to get in there early. David said he voted. Chris said she voted. Yeah, we are going to be there. We are going to be there. Excellent. Brian's voted. Okay. I see the votes in there. I see. And man, and this is, I want to bring something to your attention that is really fascinating while you guys are telling me that. Okay. But this was really good yesterday. Yesterday, I got a chance to check out Kamala and Liz Cheney on the road. I know you probably said, Ron, aren't you enough? Don't you get tired of politics? Yeah, I do, but I'm also curious. This is the first time in history that you ever saw that you're seeing a Republican, a starch legacy Republican with a Democrat. You know things are we're in some uncharted waters when it comes to this period of time. AA voted already as well. Oh, nice. Okay. So let me share this one with you guys. Hold on a second. Let me pop this up. I think you'll learn something here. And
let's get to our top story this hour. Vice President Kamala Harris visited 3 battleground states yesterday, along with former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney. They were making an appeal to Republican voters who may not like Donald Trump, but are still on the fence about supporting a Democrat. Together, they tried to hammer home the danger the former president poses and that he is not fit for the office of the presidency.
In this race, we have the opportunity to vote for and support somebody you can count on. We're not always going to agree, but I know Vice President Harris will always do what she believes is right for this country.
We have in our grasp the ability to determine the course of our country. You know, every election we said, this is the one, this is the one. This truly is the one.
It's not about party. It's about right and wrong. And I certainly have many Republicans who will say to me, I can't be public. They do worry about a whole range of things, including violence, but they'll do the right thing. And I would just remind people, if you're at all concerned, you can vote your conscience and not ever have to say a word to anybody. And there will be millions of Republicans who do that on November 5th, vote for Vice President Harris.
What do y'all think about that? I mean, listen, did you just hear that? I am beginning to believe that this is really going to be a factor that no one is going to see coming. And that is, like Liz Cheney just said, there are going to be millions of Republicans that are going to vote for Kamala Harris and not say anything about it. Do you guys think that's possible? Do you think that's possible? I mean, think about that. I mean, there are a lot. I mean, first of all, the sadness of it all is that people would be afraid of being ridiculed, ostracized for their vote for Kamala in these Republican stronghold states or areas or neighborhoods. And Elise says she believes it's possible. I think, because, back in the day, there was a time where people never even talked about who they voted for. Remember those days? Our parents would never talk about who they voted for. We just knew they were voting Democrat anyway because they were Democrats, but no one really talked about who they voted for. Or you would go to a family gathering and people just never talked about who they were voting for. What if, and this is just my own scenario, my own thinking here, is that, for instance, I think even some of the loudest voices that are like, Trump, 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 those people that you hear on TV, the talking heads, or they're on Fox or whatever they may be, are not going to vote for Trump. I just have this suspicion. Yeah, again, the 30% is always going to be with us. Remember, I always talk about the 30 to 37% of the population that is always in opposition of the country. But I am beginning to believe that there are some Republicans, hardcore Republicans, that are going to vote for Kamala. Exactly, Omar. And because a lot of Republicans will say the only way another Republican Party could reemerge is to destroy this one. Omar says the only way for the Republicans to help their party is to vote Democrat. Elise says, yes, her family never talked about voting. I remember when we grew up, we never heard our parents talk about voting. They just said you had to vote. They never told us who they voted for. They never told us about all the stuff that we hear in the news today. David says maybe it should have been a Harris Cheney ticket. I don't know. What's really amazing about this period is that Kamala has not had to compromise any of her beliefs or her stances as a Democrat. And for those that are not politically inclined over the last 3 or 4 decades, where the Republican Party was pretty much 2 decades ago is where the Democrats are right now in a lot of cases. Think about it. A lot of what Kamala is talking about, a lot of what Biden has done, a lot of the things that have gone on. I mean, that's why there's a progressive Democratic Party part, the progressive chamber, the progressive part, is because the main Democrat Party has shifted slowly towards where the Republicans used to be. It's not a far-fetched voting for a Democrat today. If you close your eyes and just heard the policies, you could look back and say, whoa. Even for those that don't like what Reagan did, some of the policies are similar. So I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's a sleeping giant in America. I think there are going to be a lot of Republicans that are not going to vote for Trump. I know, Elise. She said Reagan was trash. Reagan was trash. Reagan did not do a lot. He did horrible for people of color, and horrible for unions, horrible for regulation. Do you know? I just learned this week. I don't know who told me this week that, you remember the shows Conjunction Junction, What's Your Function, and all that other stuff that we used to look at, that cartoons had to be a learning mechanism, that it, because of deregulation under Reagan, is why we don't see those type of programs any longer? Isn't that? I never knew why we stopped seeing those shows. And then someone brought it to my attention. It was the Reagan policies. I was like, what? Reagan even affected the cartoons we were watching? Guys, that's why elections are so important. You have no idea how legislation can affect every area of your life. Yes, this is another one. I learned this year. I learned this year. Reagan is responsible for us paying for public colleges. At one time, public colleges were free before Reagan. Reagan truly destroyed middle-class America, or middle America, especially poor middle-class America. Yeah, you said it, Elise. He was trash. And I was deceived when I was a kid. My first vote was Reagan. And I was deceived. I was like, oh, power. He's a strong man, blah, blah, blah. Much like young people think today. He's the of our, what's the word? We go to as the noisiest rattling thing as young people. Right? I remember when I was a teenager. I was 18 years old. My first vote was Reagan, because I thought Carter was timid. I didn't have a grasp of policy. I didn't understand policy. So sometimes we look at our young people today, we can't trash them. We got to educate them. I wish someone would have educated me. I didn't know. I thought I was doing the right thing by voting for Reagan. And many days when every time I hear something else come out about Reagan, I go, dog it. My vote is responsible for some of that crap. That's why we have to teach our young people. We have to teach our young people and educate them. Yes. I see here. I told you, facts. Mimi says, Janet says, air traffic system got destroyed under Reagan. Yes. I remember that because that was aviation related and I was in the aviation field. I remember that. Derek says, wow, that's a garbage man. He's why I had to register for the draft because of Reagan. Yes, I had to register for the draft because of Reagan. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Luckily, there were no wars. Elise says, the idea of what it means to be a strong man is interesting. Boys, I think, well, I know from my own experience, let me put it that way. We are taught by the elders, young men. We see as young men, we see the people on the street, we see them on the corner, we see them in offices, we see them on TV, and there's a certain look of a leader that we've been taught, brainwashed to be taught, because that's what it was in the past. Now we realize that there are amazing leaders of all kinds and persuasions, and they don't have to be men. Lots of beautiful women leaders in the country, in the world. It's like those people that say, "Oh, I don't think Kamala would be a good president because they will run over her as around the world because she's a woman." But those people don't know their history. They don't know their current history. There are lots of women prime ministers around the world. And most of the richest countries in the world have had women presidents. Most democracies have had women presidents or prime ministers and still do. Okay, I see here. Good morning. Fifi says, "Good morning, Ron. Good morning, fam." And let's see here. I see Brian says, public college is what allowed my mother to get out of Alabama, pursue her career dream. Yeah, I remember my Pell Grant when I was in college. That was because of Carter. Because Carter had set up the whole Pell Grant system. Yeah. Well, at least it funded it. Yep, that's how I was able to start college. That's how I was able to start college. I mean, there were some things that Reagan got. He reduced the money in it because I remember when the money got reduced, but it was still around. I see Chrissy says T.C. Carson said, "Yeah, there you go. That's the video I saw this morning." T.C. Carson said he voted in Georgia, did his ballot, and printed out his ballot, and they had changed who he was voting for president. However, it was corrected. That's who it was this morning, T.C. Carson. So guys, remember to check when you vote, make sure you check, double check. Double check is so important. Kimmy says, I love this, Kimmy. Right. First-time voters don't know all the info. My first time voting was based on parents' experience. Over the years, you learn more and more. Right? We vote based on our parents. We vote, I did. When I said I was a Republican, my parents, they lost their minds. What? You're a Republican? What? I am no longer a Republican. Those were the good old days, as they say. David Mascaro says, I believe, if not mistaken, he's responsible for mental institutions being closed down, and that's why so many are on the streets today. Mascaro, yes, you are right about that too. Reagan, his policies really wreaked havoc on our society. I read that. I read that in history. I read that. Yes. It was under Reagan and the Republicans that did away with mental institutions and mental health. Yes. And you wonder why. They believed in getting rid of the mental institutions and just simply incarcerating people, which never worked, because mental illness is different from criminality. Yep. Elise says, the last time I voted, I used the paper ballot and not the machine. Anthony says, you should also make sure you don't have a placebo ballot. What's that? Okay. Oh, wait a minute, Anthony. What is that? Am I missing something? Kimmy says the same thing. What is a placebo ballot? What is that? I don't know any. I don't. I don't. This is why community is important. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of a placebo ballot. Could someone educate me? Could someone educate us? Anthony, do you know what that is? Oh, he said it's like a text ballot. Your vote won't count. Really? Is that possible? Omar said he used a paper ballot today. Really? I got to do research. Oh, that's a rabbit hole I got to go down. I never heard of a placebo ballot. I don't know. I don't think it's the same thing, Elise. I don't think it's a provisional ballot. I don't know. Kimmy, I'm with you. This is crazy. I gotta research. Gotta research. Something well, obviously a lot of things I don't know, but that I did not know. That's education. That's something that we got. I'll have an answer. Oh, by the way, tomorrow we will not have a Touch Base Daily. Tomorrow I have a big event that I'm photographing, so I will not be here. And it's a morning event. Usually when it's an evening event, I can still do my work here with you guys and spend time with you all. But tomorrow I will be on the road photographing a big event here in New York City, just so you know. And then on Thursday, we will not have our regular traditional Touch Base Daily. I will be live from, I know not all of you are New Yorkers, but for we New Yorkers, it's a big thing. We are having our ticker tape parade on Thursday morning. Starts at 10 a.m. So I'll be in the Canyon of Heroes, and you'll get to experience with me all the lovely ticker tape and all the stuff blowing in the wind as the heroes come down the Canyon of Heroes for our wonderful New York Liberty basketball team. So we'll be there tomorrow. On Thursday. So 2 days adjustment. So tomorrow there'll be no Touch Base Daily. But on Thursday, we will return. I will be live from New York City's Canyon of Heroes. Okay, so that's so you make sure you know that. Since all you guys are in here, make sure you know. I'll put it out again later. So for those that may have missed it. Mimi says, if you are not voting electronic, take a stylus or a good pencil. Also, check and make sure everything is correct. Wow. Yes. Double check, double check, double check. Omar says, congrats for work. Amen for that. I love to have work. I love me some. Remember, y'all, I'm an event photographer. I like event. If you have a friend, you have people that work for corporations and they need an event photographer and they're in New York, the metropolitan area, or I do fly. I do get on planes and I can go to your event anywhere in the world. If you want to fly me there, I'll give you great service. I will. I like to consider myself, and I do believe I am an event photographer specialist. And anyway, what time is it? Is it time? It's time for class. It's time for class. It is time for our Touch Base Daily Tuesday class. I see Mimi says, congrats to the Liberty. Yes. Take a great pic of Ely, the mascot. Yes. Yes. Derek says, I use a pen. You can't change my choices. I hear you. Take the pen, not the pencil, the pen. And also someone mentioned that if something goes wrong on your ballot, you can ask for a new one and say, no, I'm not going to put this one through. I need a fresh one. Void this one, and I'll start again. So just because something goes off, you make a mistake, don't think you have to slip that thing through the reader. You can get another one. They can rip that one up, and you can get a new one. So I've been told. Okay, so you're not forced until that thing goes through the machine. Okay, so make sure you know that you do have abilities. Okay, let's get to go. Let's start. Let's dive into some classes today. And today's lesson is going to be on how to capture cool photographs at your Halloween event. Now, we all know what's happening next week. It is Halloween. With Halloween approaching, it's time to gear up for spooky, fun, and fantastic photo opportunities. Here are some tips to help you take cool photos at your Halloween event or party. Number 1, embrace low light, because remember, it's the evening for most of us, and it's going to be dark. You're out there, you're having parties, you're with the kids, you're going from house to house, you want to take those photos. Embrace low light. Halloween is all about eerie vibes. Use low light to your advantage. Try capturing silhouettes or using candlelight for a spooky effect. Like, they don't usually flame candlelights these days, but even with those little battery ones that you have, bring it up to someone's chin and then take the picture. It just makes really effect. You can bring it over to the side and get a half face. You can move around with lights and all the stuff, flashlights. Take your flashlight and put it under the chin and get these strange, eerie looks and create shadows under the eyes and all that other stuff. Be creative. Use your light sources. Most of us, when we go out trick-or-treating, I don't do trick-or-treating any longer, but I do go out because I'm photographing. We have our flashlights or we have our smartphones. So use your light to create beautiful pictures. You can take your smartphone, turn your phone on, and just put it underneath the chin. Put it right here. Put it underneath and just light up your lower part. Again, it's all about the shadows and all the light changes. So using candlelight for a spooky effect, that always helps too. Next, play with shadows. Shadows add mystery. Position your subjects near a light source, like I just said. A light source to create dramatic shadows and enhance the Halloween ambiance. Right? So all you mommies out there, aunties, that are taking your nephews, nieces, children, daughters, sons out to the park, to the neighbors, and taking the walk, going to candy stores, going to grocery stores, having the whole Halloween experience. Take pictures. They're so memorable. Kids, when they become adults, love looking back on those photos. Use props. Incorporate Halloween props like pumpkins, candles, masks into your shots. They add an extra layer of spookiness and make your photos more interesting. Use props. I mean, most of the time, the kids are going to have props anyway. And Halloween is not just for the kids, y'all. Do you know that more adults participate in Halloween than kids? There are big office parties going on Halloween. There are big events. Like in New York City, we have our Halloween parade. It is I think they said it's our second largest parade. People travel from all over the world for our New York City Halloween parade in Greenwich Village. It's a lot of fun. Taking pictures, the lights, the street lights, everything looks creepy, everything looks crazy. It's great. It's the best time to take pictures of people in their mask and they're all made up. I'm going to show you a couple of those photos in a little bit of what I did for one of my clients. Let's see here. I see what you guys are saying in here. Okay, Grand Rising. Thanks, Elise. Thanks. Okay, Voodoo Fest. Anthony says there's a Voodoo Fest in New Orleans. It's huge. Yeah. Okay. Kimmy says she did. Let me pop that up there. She says recently did a trunk and treat with the grandkids. Yes, right. That's right. Okay, next one. Did I talk about the props? So use props. Incorporate Halloween props like pumpkins, candles, or masks into your shots. They add an extra layer of spookiness and make your photos more interesting. Next, capture the costumes. Everyone puts effort into their costumes. So capture full body shots and close-ups of makeup and details. You want to know what to photograph? Here's an easy one. Everyone wants their whole outfit photographed from toe to head, from head to toe. But then everybody wants their photos close up, because if they spent all that time on makeup and all that stuff that they put on their face, they want you to zoom in and take those shots. And you know how we talk about different angles and all that stuff, but you know what I'm saying? So capture all. Don't just don't capture one or the other. Capture both. Capture, get close, get the details, get the crusty wrinkles, the powdery gook, and the gummy makeup on their face. Get it done. Get it done. Capture the costumes. Next, action shots. Capture the fun moments in action, whether it's dancing, pumpkin carving, trick-or-treating. Action shots bring life to your photos. Incorporate the kids with their, with the grandparents, like you see here. Or, the kids laughing as they walk out the candy store after they got their big bag of candy from the store owners. Or they're just doing fashion and laughing and showing off their costumes with their friends. Those are the action shots, right? Those are the action shots. Here's another one. Edit for extra spookiness. Use photo editing apps to add filters or effects that enhance the eerie atmosphere. Think cool-tuned filters or light glares. Right? So make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. Any questions? Any questions out there? Any questions? This is your time. Q&A, quickly. If you got a question, put it in the chat box. Put it in the comment box. Put a Q and then just say, what's your question, so we can go over it. Okay? Here's some pictures. Right? Get the details. Get the costumes. Get the foods. Get the candies, get everything, get the dogs. Speaking of dogs, here in Fort Greene, in my neighborhood, we have what's called the pumpkin Halloween. So the puppies or the dogs come out with their costumes every Halloween here in Fort Greene, here in Brooklyn. I used to photograph it, but usually it coincides with what I'm doing for other things. But it is a great affair when they have dog costume parties. Oh, that's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen one, dogs get into it too. And there we go. Let me share with you something. And for all of these, this is what I did a couple of this is what I did for a client. And let me share that with you all. So you see what I do as a photographer. So this is some of the stuff that I do when I'm out working. And you can see this is a Halloween event that's happening. This particular band, they have they do a concert every Halloween here in Clinton Hill. And they go all in. So here's some photos. Oh, I see a question. Ann Power says, what's your thoughts? Let me put this up on the screen. Hold on a second. There we go. Ann Power says, what's your thought on cropping people and their faces? Oh, I'm a cropper. I believe in cropping. That's the whole point. Cropping is good. Remember, The cropping tool is it's like it's like someone editing a movie. Your cropping tool allows you to tell your story. The cropping tool allows you to tell your story. There may be some things in the frame that you don't want in the frame. So you need to bring it in and crop it so that you have no distractions of your story. Sometimes you don't want any cropping because everything that's around the subject is the story, is the addition to your composition. So cropping could be good as a tool to zero in on something. You can zero in on someone's eye, right? Like just go right in for the eye and makeup and just tell that story. Or you can zoom out and get that person's outfit, what they're wearing, how it relates to the people around them. Maybe the little girl's with her parents, or the little dude is with his dad. Cropping helps you tell your story. Brian says, I'd encourage photographing neighborhoods. Yeah. He said, encourage photographing neighborhoods decorated from yards of houses. Yes. Clinton Hill, we get all into it. But do not. Yes. I mean, again, it depends on what you're trying to tell. Amparo says, but chop off heads at hairlines above eyebrows. It depends. Maybe you're trying to just tell the story of the eyebrow. Maybe you're just trying to tell the story of the eye. It depends on your story. Cropping depends on your story. I see Janet says, I crop to 0 in on content equal direct the eye. Yes. Cropping is all about directing your audience to your story. Good question. That's a good question. Thank you, Emparo. That was a good question. Kimmy says, I like cropping. Just went to a concert and had to get some phones and heads out the way in order to post just the entertainer. There you go. It's all about how you want to tell your story. It's about your story. Let me take you through some of these photos. Look at these photos. This is, like I said, a concert that we give, well, my neighbors give, and they hired me to do this 1 year. Well, I did it twice. I did 3 years. I did 3 years in a row. Check this out. Check it out. So this is what kind of work I do when I'm doing event photography. And you're telling the whole story of the event. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling this is a story of Clinton Hill Halloween. You see? And again, you make the decision on how you crop and where you want to crop to tell your story. I mean, I love Halloween. This is the time where my neighbors don't care if I take their pictures. They're like, oh yeah, I want pictures. I want to be in pictures. If you are trying to become a photographer and you're like, I don't know when to take pictures of people, Halloween is your best day. Every person wants their picture taken. Yes, the name of the group is called the Dead Zombie Band. It's Pam Fleming's Dead Zombie Band, and they're located here in Clinton Hill. And I mix it up too. I go from color to black and white. Look at my neighbors. My neighbors are pretty cool people. Look at them. And you tell your story. Obviously, they loved these photos. This is what you do when you're an event photographer. You get to get behind the scene photos, and you also, like moments like this, they will always have this photo of them all together. Look at the concert. Knowing how to change your f-stop in accordance to what you want to, and that's a little more depth into photography. Knowing how to use your speed and your f-stop. your ISO. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, is that a cool shot? I'm sorry. I just gotta say it's a cool shot, even though it's my shot. I have to say it. Look at that shot. That's a pretty cool shot. You see? And so you get into it, you talk to your client, you connect. I love about photographing Halloween events or concerts are the colors. Look at all the colors from all the strobes and the lights and stuff. Look at all that color. That's the beauty of photographing these kind of events. Look at that. You see the story? Can you see the story in these photos? You can see the composition. What am I trying to tell you? What am I trying to say? The foreground, the background, right? Those are things you should be looking at when you take a picture, right? Look at that. I mean, this picture, you don't even know what year it is, right? You can't tell other than some of the little things in the picture, but you can't tell what year this is. Play with your camera. Play with it. This is the best time. Next week, we'll talk about people photography and Halloween as well. So we'll do a 2-week Halloween session. But look at that. You get to take some of the most amazing photos and play. And no one's upset with you for taking their picture. Get out there. Take some pictures. My neighborhood gets into it. My neighbors, they get all in. You see that? You see my neighbors? They get all in. They go all in. So anyway, and I can share more next week when we go more into it. But look at that. Did you learn anything? Oh, wait, I forgot. Did I do the last part? I forgot to do my last part. Okay, here we go. There we go. Here we go. Let me end it. Enjoy these tips and have a spectacular time sharing your Halloween with the world. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more photography tips, right? So if you like this, make sure you like and subscribe. You can send this off to your folks. And what I've been doing also is I've been taking these lessons and putting them into one package so that way you can actually learn them in their sequence. Okay. Also, you can get this information from my Patreon page. So if you go to my Patreon page, my Patreon, and for those that want to become Patreon members and support what I do here, you can become a Patreon member. So let me just get that up there for you all. So you'll have that. So if you want to become a Patreon member, you can do that. But yeah, there you go. That was our lesson for today. But join my Patreon community. You can do that by going to www.patreon.com, Ron Lewis Photos, and you will see the full article. Let me just get that up here for you. And P-A-T. And no, it's not. There we go. Not sure. There we go. There we go. Let me get that Patreon page set up so you can see it. That way you can follow it. That should have been. There we go. Come on. Sometimes computer gets a little slow. Okay, so you can find. Let me pop this here. I need an engineer, y'all. I need an engineer. I need an engineer. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Entire screen. Here we go. So this is the Patreon page. So if you go to my Patreon page, that's what it looks like. Live life like you mean it. Stay focused. And then you go to the story, and there you have it. Everything laid out for you in the Patreon page. Is only for the members, obviously. And you can go there and get that for yourself and have that and just go through it. I put all my article. Everything is here. All the stuff. Everything I talk about, all of that stuff, teachings, tips are all on Patreon. So if you want to go in and look at all that stuff, articles, and learn, You can do that. Just become a member. And so become a Patreon member. You will be supporting me as you support yourself. Okay, so thank you guys on that. Let me stop sharing that so you can definitely do that on your time. Again, it's patreon.com, Ron Lewis Photos. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so let me get rid of that banner there. Okay, so guys, I hope you learned something today. I hope that was rewarding. I hope you learned something today. David says, I remember as a kid, my mom made our costumes. Me and my brothers were in soldiers' uniforms, and one particular house had a little photo studio set up and took our photos. Probably can't do that today. Oh, yes, some people do it. A lot of photographers are out on Halloween. Also, some of them, that's how some photographers make their money. They will be photographing people and charging, because some people are dressed up for the first time. They're memorable moments. So some photographers are out there doing it that way. Yeah. Kimmy says, great photos, Ron. Great pictures, Ron. Thank you, my dear. Rosemary said, hello, Ron. Beautiful photography. Thank you. Chrissy's in the building. What's going on, Chrissy? Chrissy's been on the road. Good morning, Chrissy. So good to see you in the house. So good to see you. Okay. Any questions? Any last questions about photography before I let you guys go? And we are on time today, y'all. We are on time again. We're on time. We're trying to get back to our 11 o'clock endings. So that way you can get back to work and do what you need to do. Okay. So again, tomorrow there is no Touch Base Daily. No Touch Base Daily tomorrow. I will be on a photo shoot in the morning. So can't do both at the same time. So on Thursday, I will be live at the New York Liberty ticker tape parade in Lower Manhattan in what we call the Canyon of Heroes. So if you never experience it, join me. You can catch it. Chrissy says, yes, you. And guess what, guys? You can always catch the replay. You can always catch the replay. Absolutely. There you go. Okay, I think we got it all. I think we are ready. So guys, what do? We live life like we mean it. And what? We focus on what matters. Guys, get out there, vote. Check your ballots twice. Do everything you can do to help others go out and vote. Let's get every vote we can so we can save our democracy. And on that note, have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday.